Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Technical Coach. Friends, in this video I am going to tell you what is load balancer and how it's work. So friends, in this video series we will learn F5 load balancer full course. So watch this video and this series till the end. We will upload video day by day. Okay? So let's start here.
So friends, let me tell you that this F5 product is created for applications to be reachable to the clients. Friends, that you've been accessing Google services for so many years. Access those services. In your view, you think you open a browser and you type google.com and you enter and you see the page. It's so simple. But Google has a server, a web server, and the web server must be reachable to every individual. So the area where F5 product works is application delivery. Application delivery means there is an application and I want to deliver it to my clients, my customers. That is the simple area. But uh, the way I am telling you it is simple, it's not like that. There are so many complex technologies which are involved. So in this initial course, this is the first course in F5 environment, and we call it F5 LTM. LTM is basically local traffic manager. So here you can see the topics that we are going to cover. Uh, so we will understand the basic thing regarding LTM. So we will set up the lab, and after that we'll learn about provisioning. Provisioning is nothing but the allocation of the resources from the hardware box to one of the feature. For example, if you have a hardware device of F5 big IP, and then F5 big IP hardware has resources like CPU, processors, and memories, then you have LTM, one single product. You have GTM, another product. You have some other product. So how the resources are to be shared is actually called provisioning. So we'll understand how provisioning is done, why it is done, and what are the possible ways to provision the resources. Servicing. So we'll learn about different load balancing methods, how they are done, how they are configured. Okay. And then, friends, we learn about priority group activation. This priority group activation is nothing but a kind of backup. For example, at workplace, if you need 10 people, so you keep 12 people because all the 10 people will not be available all the time. We are human, so we'll be sick sometime, will not be available due to some another reason. But the work should not stop. So if you need 10, you keep 12 and you will keep other two for backup so that whenever you need, you can use them. So that kind of concept is priority group activation. Health monitor, friends. Health monitors, okay, the load balancer should know that the servers to whom I'm controlling, so out of all the servers, who are the servers who are available? Because if somebody is not available, he should first or it should first report me. And how the reporting should be done with the help of health monitors. So the load balancer keep on asking, hi, hello, how are you? Hi, hello, how are you? So every server responds to this hi, hello. And if a server responds, means the server is okay and ready to serve. And if the answer is not coming from some server, then load balancer will think that the server is not available And that's why I should not forward a request to this server. It's like a heartbeat kind of activity which we understand, which we know in high availability environment. Okay. And then friends, we have a network address translation. NAT is a very important aspect of networks. Everywhere it is needed. And we also know why we need it. Only the difference here is that normally we are more focused towards traffic which is going from inside to outside, but here we will be more focused of the traffic which moves from outside to inside. And friends, then there will be a topic called profiles. This profile topic is a huge topic, I would say, because this profile is going to control the behavior of the traffic. I would say, friends, sometime, load balancer has to understand a traffic, and based on that, it has to take some decision. For example, you might have noticed when you access Facebook from the mobile phone, the view is different than when you access it from your laptop. So definitely Facebook has one common load balancer. So the request goes to that load balancer, and load balancer checks that if request is originated by a mobile device, then it should be forwarding that request to specific different servers. So in this case, traffic is analyzed, and based on traffic analyzed, the decision is made. So that is done with the help of profile. A simplest example that I can give you. One Connect profile is a profile where we try to give more and more, speed to our load balancer. How we will learn it? Persistence is again a concept, a new concept might be for you people. To understand the persistence, I would say that friends, if you if you go to Flipkart to buy some stuff there, uh, it want you to identify, right? The Flipkart website want you to be identified so that it can quickly give you ads of your interest. So how it identifies you? By keeping a cookie in your browser, so that once you connect, the Facebook identifies you that, oh, you are the customer, and last time you bought this product from us, so you may be interested to these other products also. And in same way, persistence will be same. And then we have SSL offloading, friends. You know the concept as SSL. It's a very important feature. So we learn how SSL, what is SSL actually, then what is SSL inspection, then what is forward SSL inspection, what is reverse SSL inspection, and how we use it. Basically, it is a big topic. And then, friends, we have a high availability of load balancers. We have iRule and IAP concepts. iRule is basically a concept where profile, I would say iRule is an extension of a profile. There are several tasks which profile cannot perform, so we use iRules. And IAPs are going to implement one of the service very, very quickly. So this will be the whole content that we are going to learn, and there will be some more thing in that, but largely we are going to discuss these stuff. So security, friends, is a very important aspect. You may be thinking why I am talking security in this F5 LTM course. This is not a firewall training, because security has several parameters. Security is about confidentiality. Security is about integrity. Security is about availability also, right? In availability, the aim is always to make the resources available to the right parties. So if you are dealing with a load balancer, you are still dealing with availability part of the security. And that is that is how the security is still there. So friends, if you are making your applications available to the customer, how the security is very, very important. And this F5 LTM also works at the availability of area of the security, I would say. So we need to understand the web traffic in a client server architecture. In client server architecture, you know, most of the resources are kept in a server, and using client machine, we access those resources. And HTTP, friends, HTTP communication is a medium now to access the resources. And it is the most famous software traffic, I would say, nowadays. So, how HTTP functions and how the requests are made and how the response uh, are being given back. Now, whenever a HTTP request is made, for example, whenever a HTTP request is made, you make a request with the help of some methods. For example, the method shown here are get method, post method, put method, head, delete, patch options. These are the method used by your browser to ask a resource at server level. And the server, depending upon the situations, answer these questions by error code. The error codes may belong to this range, 100 to 199. If that code is 100 to 199, then the code is called informational response, and the problem is not there. In communication, there is no problem. But if you have an error code showing from 200 to 299, then it is a successful response, means the communication is successful. And if you have uh, a redirection related response, for example, client asked for Google page and Google mentioned that the page is not currently with me. For accessing the page, you can go to this IP. So the server is redirecting your request. And if this is happening, you will get a response of 300 or 300 to 399. If client has some error, for example, browser made a uh, unmeaningful request, then there will be a problem at client side. So the response will be from these range. And if the problem is at the server level, server is not able to answer, server has some issue, the response will be 500 to 599. So these are the method and these are the answers. So client server talk with these communication, these methods. So for example, if you see, so here you would see that client is basically 192.168.0.113. This is client, and server is 209, 31, 22, and 39. Now you see here the three-way handshake. So this is basically a handshake at layer 4. So the TCP handshake is happening. Now, certainly you will see the client is making a GET request. Client says, I want to get a resource, and the resource is mentioned here. And I want to get this resource from or with the help of a protocol. Version is HTTP 1.1. Now, with this request, there is an answer by server, and you see the answer is this. You will see HTTP 1.1 and 500. So now 500 is a response code. Yes, now you see it is a server related issue. So either server does not have the resource asked, or server due to some reason not able to process this request. And you might have seen a error code 200 OK. 200 OK is a very famous and generally seen error code. 200 OK means everything is fine, because if you see here, 200 means successful response. So in a client server architecture, the server has a limited resource. For example, generally the servers has higher resources. If you have a laptop, maximum memory that you can have nowadays 16 GB, but servers have higher memories. It is true, but the truth is also that there cannot be unlimited amount of hardware resources with the server. Server also have a motherboard. In motherboard, you can have 10 sticks of memory. Maybe you are increasing the memory to 128 GB or 500 GB, but you cannot increase it beyond the capacity of the motherboard, right? So there is a limited resource at the server side. If the requests are raised on a higher scale, definitely the server will feel pressure. Or if you can initiate the DOS attack, maybe the server is not able to respond to those many requests. So this is a true fact that in a client server architecture, server has higher resources but not unlimited. Second thing, with this limited resource, it can respond to limited request only. Means it cannot respond to unlimited request, right? There will be a limit. And one more thing, you can have only one application. On a server, you generally keep one application that you want to make available to your client. And if you have a single server, you have no redundancy. You cannot scale it. Means tomorrow, if your requirement is more, you have an increased request, then you tomorrow cannot add another server for scalability, because you have already an IP configured there and no fault tolerance. So these are the limitation of a client server architecture, where we have one single client and one single server. But these limitations can be removed by using a load balancer, and we call that load balancer as application delivery controller. So this load balancer is also known as application delivery controller, because this is responsible for delivering service to a client, delivering an application to the client. So load balancer has another synonym, and that is application delivery controller. Now in this case, friends, you can see the web server ABC, right? Now, if tomorrow you feel that your application delivery controller or your load balancer is receiving a lot more requests, then you can add more server behind it. You can add two more server, so that you can contain those requests. But that functionality of increasing the server was not there when you had one single web server. So that limitation is being countered here. Fault tolerance. So when you had one single server and that get failed, you have no way to serve the request. But here, if one fail, there are two available server. Maybe users start feeling delay, but the request will not go unanswered. So high availability is also there, redundancy is there, scalability is there because you can add more web servers behind load balancer to accommodate those many requests. So all the problem that belongs to single server in a client server architecture got solved here when you are using a load balancer. Now, friends, let's talk about the capability of this load balancer, capability of this application delivery controller. Uh, First of all, friends, that this load balancer, because it is a proxy, it can modify the information at any layer if it want. So it can, the first point is that it can direct or redirect specific request. It means it can receive a request, can analyze the request, and based upon the characteristics available on the request, it can take a decision. It can redirect it or it can send it without inspection. Second is it can also intercept, inspect, and transform request. It means it will receive the request and if possible, it can make changes in the request and responses also. So this load balancer can receive a request and it can change the request also. And it's not limited to request change. It can change the response also if needed. And finally, it can check the health of the servers which are there in background, like web server A, B, C, whether they are active or not, those can also be checked.